So, to start with the origin and development of German, we're going to go back to the first recordings from the Germanic tribes, 55 BCE. The Romans' arrival changed the lives of the Germanic tribes and their spoken language forever. Many Latin notions from trade, conflict, and infrastructure increased the Germanic language. And from 600 to 1050, the historical narrative of German language began approximately 600 CE from the age of the Germanic migration and the spread of Christianity. During the Second Germanic Sound Shift, one set of Western Germanic languages separated from the other Germanic dialects, and what remained as we now call Old High German. And then cultural and economic development, in addition to political polarization, characterized the Middle Ages. Since 1050, German speaking regions were split into distinct local dialects. Every region had its own language, and each governing dynasty had its own linguistic style. Middle High German started using extra syllable vowels and a more logical grammar structure. From 1350 to 1550, technical advances such as Johannes Gutenberg's invention of the printing press in 1446 contribute to the growing importance of a written German language. The printing business expanded rapidly as the written language became more ubiquitous. As the Middle Ages ended, the first attempts were made to develop a standard German language. From 1550 to now, people formed organizations that opposed the influence of a foreign language on German, but these organizations had little effect. Indeed, numerous terms taken from different languages entered the language during this period. During the 18th century, several excellent writers shaped contemporary Standard German into what it is today. Now, German is the language of the church, state, education, institutions, and literature. But like many languages, the history of the German language is constant evolving. New vocabulary and sometimes grammar rules will continue to change the German language in small steps in significant ways. Words borrowed from other languages will also continue to influence German, especially those related to modern technologies. So I put in a few examples of words slash concepts borrowed in English from German, such as Doppelganger, a ghostly double lookalike clone of a person, angst, fear, a neurotic feeling of anxiety and depression, Fahrenheit, named for its German inventor, and Diesel, named for its German inventor. So for influence on media, I picked out a movie that became really popular in the USA in 2022. Maybe you saw the movie, or maybe you saw a bunch of TikTok clips going around. That's how I knew about the movie. Um, but the story follows young Paul Baumer, who enlists with several of his friends in the German war effort during World War One. The young men are inspired to enlist by their teachers, who speak of the glory and honor to be found on the battlefield fighting for their country. But they find nothing but death and destruction when they arrive on the front lines. The film then shows moments of their experiences that painfully emphasize the brutality and inhumanity of war. The movie illustrates how children are influenced by propaganda and highlights the importance of understanding language's power. I've also included a YouTube short clip so that we can see a little insight on the movie.
Unsere Zukunft, die Zukunft Deutschlands, liegt in den Händen seiner größten Generation. Meine Freunde, das sind Sie! Darum auf in den Kampf! Für Kaiser, Gott und Vaterland! Ja!
So, recent news from Germany is that there's a debate on how to form gender neutral words out of its gendered language. In Germany, the debate about gender neutral and inclusive language is complicated by grammar. Just as in many other languages, gender in German isn't denoted by personal pronouns alone. German nouns that refer to people have traditionally been masculine or feminine. Now, in 2018, a new federal law stipulated that all forms of ID, from birth certificates to passports, must include three options: male, female, and diverse, all of which can be left blank. In 2019, Hanover became the first state capital to mandate the use of gender-neutral language in all official communication, from emails to brochures and posters. It deployed what's known as the gender star, a star placed within a noun to indicate it refers to men, women, and non-binary people alike.
Dialects are variations of a language that are only used in certain regions. Here are examples of three dialects spoken in different regions of Germany. Instead of the standard hello, you greet people with a servus in Bavaria. A bread roll is called a Zimmer, or might designate the whole food category like in Berlin, where the most common one that you can see on the top right corner is called a Schrippe. I also included a couple of proverbs in each dialect that embodies the spirit of the people speaking them. The Bavarian one says, for example, Schau mal nach sein Mascho, and it means let's see what happens, which represents the laid-back, more relaxed attitude of Bavarian people well. A standard dialect-free German was established so that everyone could understand each other, but that doesn't mean that there's a right way to speak German. Dialects are just as valid. According to Basil Bernstein, people use variants of the language according to their social class. Middle and upper class people use a more formal language with complex sentences and a large vocabulary, while people from the lower class will use a public language with short sentences and limited vocabulary. The Jugendsprache is the language of the youth. It is characterized by abbreviations and anglicisms. Most expressions are very short-lived, and it's also more direct and provocative than standard German. In Germany and Austria, a Youth Word of the Year is chosen, and the 2024 Jugendwort is Aura. That's right, the same aura as the TikTok trend. The case system of German is hard to understand, but it is the base on which the language is built. Think of cases as roles that nouns take on in a sentence to show who is doing what to whom. There are four cases: nominative, accusative, dative, and genitive. They determine the ending or declinations of the words that are placed in front of the nouns, and change according to the noun's grammatical gender. On top of learning these tables by heart, there is also a list of rules that you must memorize, but even if you understand the theory, it's hard in practice. I still make lots of mistakes, even though I've been learning the language for years. German also combines words into compounds to create new meanings. For example, the word Handschuh, which means glove, is made of the words Hand, which is hand, and Schuh, which is shoe. The long word that you can see on the screen, which is made up of 7 words, is quite a mouthful, but it's a great example of how German compounds can create extremely specific terms by stacking words together. Another funny thing about the German language is that there are words that can be translated in English. Schadenfreude refers to the unique satisfaction that felt when witnessing someone else's misfortune. We all have laughed at least once when we saw someone fall right in front of us. Kummerspeck, literally grief bacon, describes the weight gained from emotional eating due to stress, sadness, or heartbreak. Schnapsidee is the combination of a type of alcohol and the word idea, refers to an idea or decision that seemed brilliant under the influence of alcohol but may be regretted afterwards, like, let's get tattoos. Treppenwitz, or staircase joke, describes the witty retort or comeback that you think of only after the moment has passed. You know that moment when you come up with the perfect reply to what someone told you years ago in the shower?